I ain't afraid of no ghost.
You ready?
Disclaimer, disclaimer, read all about it.
Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, February 13th. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Are y'all ready for that? I sure am. Because we're going to do what we do every day, which is lounge around, raise these kids, and try to catch up with, laundry and homework and all of those things. But we're going to really love each other just as much as tomorrow as today. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Me and Mr. Eve are not huge Valentine's Day people. It's just, it's another day where you have to put on a pretend face sometimes, and another thing to remember, another thing to buy. We're just, we're good. We're good. But for other people, it's a big deal, and that's good too. That's good. That's why I played this, because this is how me and Mr. Eve are for Valentine's Day. Lowered expectations. I will find any reason to use my soundboard. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, of course, it's going to be Michael Vaughan case, but I will tell you that I do have other content and other cases that I would like to cover more habitually on this channel. I was really hoping to cover Harmony Montgomery's trial because, as you know, I tried my best to help Harmony's mother not only try to think of ideas and, whatever, but just to be a shoulder to cry on, if you will, over the interwebs, which I hope helped. So anyway, I just really felt deeply about that case, and she had actually followed me on TikTok way before any of this, the news broke about Harmony. So it's just very surreal now seeing the trial right now. But because of the Michael Vaughan case kind of taking the forefront lately, I guess that's why I failed to do that with Harmony. But a lot of people are covering Harmony's case in the trial. So, Michael Vaughan, like we all know, didn't get as much coverage from the beginning. And kind of still isn't now in my opinion. It's very, it's drama, and we need to steer away from that now. I think that we've all made our mistakes, right? And there's always going to be critics and people that think that they know better or know how you should cover your content and all that stuff, and they don't pay my bills. So there's that. But there are things that I could do and will do to kind of ignore all of that other fodder and continue on. So we need to talk about timelines and coffee. Drink my coffee while we talk about that, because bang, bang, we've got some information out here that we need to talk about that people either missed or misconstrued that we really, really, really need to clear up. So I was on Granny's watching for quite some time the other night, which was a great live. I appreciate being on panel. and having the opportunity to speak my piece. And then Brandy Neal came on after that to just tell everybody to stop. Just stop and share Michael. It's about Michael. So we're going to do that. We're definitely going to do that. And I appreciate her coming on to just be like, this is not what we should be doing. Bickering at each other. So I'm not going to. I don't have any reason to. Well, I have lots of reason to bicker, but it's not going to do Michael Vaughan's case any good. So I'm going to pick and choose my battles. And my battle today, for starters, is the Kuna, Idaho search at Brandon Shurtliff's mother's house. Now, on Granny's watching, I did not realize how badly something was misconstrued from many, many people, not just one, but many, regarding the search at the Kuna, Idaho residence, and a little bit about what was said in an article regarding the response to Brandon Shurtliff's mother saying that, they only alerted to her leaking toilet near a crawl space outside of her home. So we're going to go over that. We're also going to go over neighbor stuff. And I'm talking about neighbors on Southwest 9th, meaning witnesses or potential witnesses, but we're only going to focus on one or two. One for sure. And this one spoke out from the very at the very beginning, and then about a week later, nothing. Facebook down. I don't know if that was per the law enforcement request. We don't know. But we're going to go over that and what was said and all that good stuff. Because, look, this particular neighbor is on the corner of Southwest 9th in Arizona. And that would be, from my understanding, the closest house between Michael's house and allegedly where Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon were at one point during the abduction time frame that police have released. So it just makes sense that that would be the first thing to look at and what was said there. Because if witnesses say they saw, Michael on that road at Southwest 9th, how did he get to Southwest 8th and when, right? And does that line up with the alleged suspect's timeline and timestamp? We don't know for sure what time that is, This is all going to be speculation, just what was said. So that's all we can do, right? So let's get started with the first thing on the agenda. Again, we're going to look at a KTVB article about Brandon's mother in Kuna, Idaho, where they searched her property because obviously the 3 out of 4 suspects definitely went to that home in the evening on July 27, 2021. So I'm going to pull up that article. We're going to get into it. How's everybody doing? Let me check in with chat. I'm going to start from the bottom up, okay? Because I'm behind. Is it me or is interrogation tactics that they're using these days just suck? Yeah. Or are they not doing it at all? Right. Sweet. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Bryn L, hello. I just want him to get justice no matter where it leads and not go cold like Summerwell's right. OG Mod says, I'm going to shut my mouth. Well, okay. I'm still here for you. Good to see you, though, love. Please be respectful in chat. No mentioning other creators, please. That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. One life to live. Thank you for being here. And thank you for seeing that Eve is just here for Michael. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And good to see you now that I know who you is. No, I'm just kidding. You're so right. I'm single, so that's... But I show the ones I love daily. I don't need no special day. I don't need no special day either. Exactly. Deep Girl, good to see you, Shani. Mr. Eve. Mr. Eve says, remember, everyone, keep things respectful in the chat. That's right, or you get the boot. Hi, Karen Matt. Hakuna Matata. Twin Thing, good to see you. Hey, Y Crime, good to see you. Susie. And if I missed you, Nene, good to see you. Who else did I got? Who else do I have? I know I'm missing somebody. Archangel. Nico. All right, I think we're good. If I missed you, welcome in. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and hit that like button while you're here. Even the lurkers in the back. You know you want to. All right. "22 pew pew pew." Is that the name? Oh, hey, Kim, Colorado. Good to see you. I don't see that person. Am I on top? Because I'm on top chat. That's why. Of course. All right. I'm going to pull this article up and we're just going to get right into it. And I got a Facebook post from Tina that was, I think, in the Facebook group that they have
Credit
a
Union's
FICO.
High Yield Checking Plus.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. No. Sorry, is it ad? Kidding, everybody. Don't interrupt me. All right. So there is a Facebook comment that Tina, I think, left in the Michael Vaughan search group that was once public, then privated. And everybody got kicked out that, I don't know, they didn't want in there because of the quote unquote speculation, you know, all that stuff. And I kind of understand because I believe the family was in there and they didn't need to hear it or see it. So I understand. It was still like, could have warned somebody. Dang.
Finding a way to earn more with your savings account shouldn't have to be a struggle.
I said don't interrupt me. KTVB ads. I need some sleep, y'all. I've gone crazy. It's all this sleuthing business. Oh, by the way, how did you like my intro? If you liked it, let me know how I did. Look, I am not playing with you. I swear, KTVB, fix your website. I will contribute to you fixing your website. How much you need, because this is ridiculous. Look at all these damn ads. Shoot. 2.5 years of this. Love the intro. It's great. Yeah, Shani, you know what? I know. This website's ridiculous. It probably targets just me because they know me. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get her. We're going to annoy the shit out of her. Don't you do it? All right. We got to get to brass tacks here. Don't you do it either down here, sneaky. All right. Going straight to Tina, because that's what we need to talk about. We've already gone over the rest of the stuff with the excavation. Shurtliff's mother, Tina Moriel, told KTVB in a message that police came knocking at her door and their cadaver dog alluded to something on her property. One moment, I need to sneeze. Ooh, that pollen got me. Let me see if I can use this little speaker thing. What does this do?
Shurtliff's mother, Tina Moriel, told
Oh,
KTVB in a
Lord.
message that police came knocking at her door and their cadaver dog alluded to something on her property. She said the dog smelled poop outside near her crawl space from her leaking toilet. According to Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, cadaver dogs do not alert on human feces, and are not trained to find it. Morila said Shurtliff is residing in North Dakota. She claims he has been cooperative and has nothing to hide. KTVB also reached out to Lucien, but never received a response. Fruitland Police Chief J.D. Huff told KTVB in a message that he still wants to keep the community updated and informed, but he also must maintain the integrity of the investigation, as it is still ongoing.
Sorry for the chaos.
With your savings account shouldn't have to be a struggle. The money in your checking account also.
KTVB, I put a curse on you and all of your offspring for the bullshit. Okay, that was not how I thought it was going to work out. So I'm going to have to get rid of that little thing. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is that Tina said something, and Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, who train and handle the dogs that went to her home, had to correct her. And somehow this became an official report by law enforcement, or not by law enforcement, but by said trained professionals that there's evidence in the crawl space that points to Michael being there. I just want to clear that up because everybody keeps saying there's evidence at Brandon Shurtliff's house that Michael, or not Michael necessarily, but hinting at Michael being there because these cadaver dogs hit at his house because of what Tina said. Now, that doesn't mean like a hill of beans. What it means is that Tina got it wrong, or maybe she just misunderstood what she saw happened. And I'm going to explain this because I did this on Granny's watching, because I was flabbergasted to hear that information from another creator. One Life to Live, been a member for 10 months, girl. Thank you for being a friend. Traveled down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Thank you. I hope you got that reference. All right, so what did Tina say? And I swear, KTVB, don't you be playing with me. Stop it. If I hear an ad go off, I'm just gonna break down. Hellcat's been a member for 18 months. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. If you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would be the biggest gift for me. And the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Thank you.
What if we're still doing this when we're 50? It would be nice to have that kind of job security.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So let's see what Tina had to say. One moment while I scroll through all this nuts craziness. Doop, doop, doop. God, this was a long article. I remember going, dang, I have to read it this much? Because your eyes start crossing and it's just so much information. Shirtless Mother Speaks. My God, 10 years later. Oh no, my alert box is going to be popping. Lord help me. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships by Nico Jack Cat. Thank you so much. Karen Matt, Kim in Colorado, Twin Thing, Amanda adores bubblegum, and Mimi, welcome to the evening crew. You are all friends here. Just remember, though.
Never been about that. Never been about playing no shit.
That's right. We keep it real around here. We have some fun. And sometimes it can get a little squirrely. All right? You got to keep it as classy as you can for someone in the deep south, but also have some fun, right? That's good. And around here, as we always like to say,
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
that's right. Absolutely not. So let's get back to business. Thank you so much again, Nico. I did sing the whole entire Golden Girls theme. And I'd do it again. All right. So Tina said Brandon's up in North Dakota with his pappy right now. She knows where he's at. The lawyer's handling his business, mind yours. All right. He is not running and has nothing to hide. All right. Don't make him get his lawyer to do or go to the public and speak on his behalf. You might not like what you hear. Paraphrasing, of course. So we have all been cooperating, but this has outright turned into total harassment of Brandon and our family. It used to be innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty without proof. Boy, preach. You can't even false confess anymore without being absolutely 100% guilty. You have to have the evidence to back up your claim these days. It's terrible. They are even pointing fingers at me and telling me I'm lying and hiding something, she said. Now think about that for a second. Brandon's mom probably just came back from her whatever. A year later, knock, knock, knock. We need to search your property. We don't have probable cause or a warrant, but would you allow us to? Sure, come on in. I'm going to sing praise, have a prayer group with you, feed you, give you something to drink, all that stuff. And what do? You're lying and hiding something. Your son knows and you know what happened. Maybe she does. Maybe she does. But why didn't they have? She sounds Southern. She is from a different part of Idaho, a very secular area that's very hick. Okay. I don't know. What is an Idahoan? I don't know verbiage. How do they speak? I thought it was normal. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Or country. But anyway, she gave them food and water, prayed with them, and allowed them to run their dogs and people through my house and yard. They did find my toilet was leaking, which I'm grateful for. And she actually said this in that Facebook group that me and many others were kicked out of. I didn't even say anything, but one or two times. But it was cleaning house, and I wasn't invited anymore. And that's okay. I promise you I'm not butthurt. I really am not. I just didn't know what I had done wrong. This is before I even covered the case, so it was weird. Let me pull. Oh, shit. That ain't the one I wanted. Here it is. So this is one of the admins in that Facebook group. That don't come at me because this was posted on an article somewhere, somehow. So this admin for that group says, as mothers, we always want to believe our kids are the best, and some can't see past that. I'm not bashing her for standing by her kid, but we all know Brandon is not some special kind helping person. Who? How do we know that? Do y'all know anything about Brandon Shurtliff before this case broke free on everybody? And they were on billboards. Did anybody know how, or when, or why Brandon is Brandon? I didn't. So I don't know how this person does, but hell, he's a drug user, drinker, and hangs out with the wrong people. There is a reason why he was living in something or other. And Tina says, both Brandon and I have spoken to them repeatedly. They have searched my home with their dogs and found nothing. Unfortunately, they are the ones not telling the whole truth. Who's they? Is that law enforcement? I would assume so. Brandon knows nothing about this missing child, but they are still making these allocations. She meant allegations. Brandon is speaking to police. He is not running or hiding because Brandon does not know anything. It's very sad what gossip and lies will do to an individual. So Tina is like, this is how it is. I'm coming up in these chats, in this Facebook comment to tell you something. And I'm assuming that's what she still sticks by. Or we would have a different, we would have something going on in this case. Right? We would have something. So, and she could be wrong. She could be right and she could be wrong. We don't know. So after she says, I fed and clothed them like Jesus would, they did find my toilet was leaking, which I'm grateful for. She claims that their cadaver dog smelled the poop outside near her vent and crawl space, which was near her leaking toilet. So she's basically insinuating, and that's what people are also doing, about what her experience was with the dogs, with the cadaver dogs. Public Relations Director Mark Sullivan, who works for the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, is a team that has been very active in the search for Michael. Sullivan consulted with canine experts on his team who told him that no, cadaver dogs do not alert on human doo-doo. Sullivan said that he's never heard of a canine dog being trained to find doo-doo. Now, I'm just going to tell you this, and I know Miss LaWanda's going to say something or other like she did the last time. I don't want to hear it this time. But with my own peepers, when in Texas with search and rescue, there's a lot of homeless people that go missing, or people who are in, halfway houses. They either get back on drugs, or a family member, may go homeless, and because they're on a drug binge, and they are missing for a while. Sometimes they will, I have seen it, dogs will alert to certain doo-doo. I don't know why, because I don't train these dogs. I have just seen it. Maybe it's because they know the scent that they're looking for, because the item and the scent had that kind of, I don't know. I'm not a professional, but I have seen dogs alert. I have seen it with my own peepers. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times, because maybe that's just how they were trained, or they're dogs and said, hey, that's doo-doo, I want to smell it. I don't know. I'm just telling you, if you trust me, I've seen it before. I just don't know what it means. But I would trust Mark Sullivan that his dogs don't. His specific dogs are not trained to find feces, okay? He says each dog has a very specific reaction that it does when it does what it's trained to do. He said via text message. Text message, not report. The untrained human may not know or recognize when a dog alerts its handler. Basically, Tina, you don't know what you talk about, ma'am. Appreciate you, but no. You might not know what's going on there. You're not a professional. And I would have to agree with this statement because we don't know what she saw. But what he's saying is you don't know what you saw, Tina. And that's okay. You're not supposed to know. That's not your job. Here's another text message that was sent from Tina. I know my son's heart. He loves kids, animals, and the elderly. He has such a tender heart. He's always giving all that he has. He would give his last morsel of food or his only shirt. He just always seems to choose the wrong type of people to be friends with. I would say so. Do you know where he is in North Dakota right now? Skipping right over that. Have you been speaking to police as well? Yes and yes. Why hasn't he come forward to speak to police about this if what they said was true? He's not running. He has nothing to hide. We have all been cooperating, but this has outright turned. And then, we already discussed what she said up here. And from my understanding, before this broke open about the 4 suspects, detectives had come to him, and then he went to North Dakota, and they came up there and talked to him again, from my understanding. So it was twice that they spoke to him. Now, I don't know why he went on the run. I have no idea. That's kind of sus. I will admit that. That is definitely sus. But some people just don't want to fess up or not fess up like Michael Vaughan's case or anything. But what I'm saying is he had warrants and stuff. Maybe he just did not want to handle or go to jail. He just needed money and he was like, I'm not doing it this time. I'll try to handle it elsewhere, which he obviously didn't. But it is of concern. It's something that I think of. Why didn't he just stay put? Why did he have to go to North Dakota? Maybe he was already on his way there. We're not going to know until he tells us, if he ever does. So let's continue with what Tina said. They came back with 17 cars, dogs, and shovels and dug where the dogs alluded to the following day. The following day? That one I have to think about, because did they not find anything at that first day and they wanted to just do another day and see if they maybe, I don't know, try it again? Or is she saying the dog alluded to the first day and they came back the following day? I think that's what let me read this again because it's not making sense. It's in the wrong, the sentence structure is wrong. They came back with 17 cars, dogs, and shovels and dug where the dog alluded to. Okay, so they should have said the following day. They came back with 17 cars, dogs, and shovels and dug where the dog alluded to. Got it. They found nothing but my leaking toilet. We have cooperated fully since this all began. Our attorney will probably be calling a press conference for all of this slander. Oh, dang. Slander. Who is giving the slander? Is it police? Is it people around? Locals? I have a pretty good idea who it is. Or it could be all of them. KTVB asked why Shurtliff hasn't come back to Idaho. Morial said his attorney is handling it. His attorney is the end-all be-all. That is his legal representation. So there is no point in saying, get your shirtless, beer-drinking ass, hot tub soaking ass back to Idaho just because you're you. His attorney is handling it. I know my son's heart, etc. We already went over that. So Huff said he could not elaborate on Morial's comments due to the nature of the investigation. KTVB went to Morial's home in Kuna to speak to her further, but she did not answer her door. Police said in December press conference that they had searched a home in Kuna without a warrant, but did not elaborate. Law enforcement does not need a warrant if a homeowner lets them inside willingly. I don't think anybody in their right mind in 2022 or 2023 would think that they would get away with cadaver dogs if they knew of something more sinister. They would be really stupid. But we don't know the full potato. So, what do you think? Do you think Tina believes that what she's saying is true? Does Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Director Mark Sullivan, or PR Director Mark Sullivan, for the search and rescue, do you think that he is saying that what Tina said is true and that they did hit on something? And can we know if it's Michael's? No. They never elaborated on what happened. They elaborated on what Tina could not understand unless she was trained to do so. Basically, the handler is what's important. The untrained human may not know or recognize when a dog alerts its handler, and he's never heard of somebody hitting on human doo-doo. Okay? In this particular instance. And we don't know what the dog hit or did not hit on, right? Well, there's just no way to know. And we can't just automatically assume guilty. Okay, TVB, you bastards.
Please allow me to introduce.
I said what I said. I guess that's a wrap for this. Maybe it's like, okay, Eve, you made your point, now shut it. All right. But to summarize, I don't think Tina feels that she is lying. I think that she believes herself. She believes her son's innocent. She let them come into her home without a search warrant with no evidence based on what? A tip from Stacey. Remember this. The interrogation of Stacey Wondra, whatever and however that came to be, we do not know. All we know is that the tip came from within the 1102 Red Wing home, and we know that Stacey told police Michael was in the backyard, his backyard, by the back patio. Right? So he wasn't there. We don't know what evidence they collected that turned out to be something that puts Michael back there. And I truly believe that even if they did find something, they would have to see who it was because of the amount of people coming in and out of that home. Right? They would have to have more than, obviously, just a confession that he said was false. Right? Guilty or not. Because we don't know the actual truth. I'm going to check in with chat before we jump into the neighbors. Well, neighbor, I think it's going to only be one because we're already 40 minutes into this live. I think Stacey is just a very sarcastic, take no shit type of man. In my opinion, I'm sure he was overhit. It could happen. It could happen. Look what I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade at, I swear I'm not. This is not attacking. This is not bashing. This is not attacking. This is not bashing. But Chris Madonna does know, per experience from the 90s or 2000s, whenever it was, that people get pushed to their ultimate limits and false confess, especially those who are young, vulnerable, what have you. It happens. I want to play something before we get into the neighbors that I found the other day that I thought was kind of eye-opening. There, and this is where I think some detectives still use this tactic, which is where all of these false confessions kind of, so back then they could beat the dog shit out of you. And if you confessed, you confessed, and that was that. But then, ethics and morals had to come into play. So no more beating in water, and doing it to harm you, because those are false confessions. So they had to go psychological. They couldn't go physical anymore. They had to go psychological to get you to confess by playing basically a game in your brain. So let's just listen to a little clip. I think you're going to like this, because I know that my viewers like to be educated on certain things that pertain to true crime. I would hope so. Yeah, so I had watched almost the entirety of this. Here it is. Insane to me. That blew my mind. I mean, Detroit is rough, especially in the 90s. It still is rough. But people had to survive in ways you couldn't imagine, and that included drugs, all right? It's just the truth. So you could see how this is already looking like bad, because it is bad. The baseline is horrible. I mean, he comes in and sees what's going down and is accused right away. I mean, they try to pin it on him, even though they knew. I'm going to summarize it for you because we're running out of time, but I mean, all signs pointed to him without any evidence. And even though the evidence wasn't really jiving, they set this man up to go. They sure damn did. And he lost 21 years of his life. And she was horribly, horribly murdered, this little girl. And I believe they caught, either they didn't, I can't remember exactly. I'll have to post it on the community post, but that family still thinks he did it. Some of the family, or some of the locals rather, let me retract that. Some people think that he murdered her still after he was vindicated of this and won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. They still think he did it. Because once you go down that path of putting out somebody as a suspect and then convicting them wrongfully, when that when that happens, that they're exonerated, oh my God. It's lifelong. There's no taking back, no matter what, no matter how much money they get. It'll never be the same. Ever. People are still going to think that you're guilty and treat you as such. Go look at any false confession exoneration. How do they find out he was innocent? I believe DNA linked somebody else. And there was, here, I'm going to tell you, I believe it was the corruption that was uncovered through journalists and basically sleuths that are journalists and other things. But it's just wild to me that false confessions are out on a rise too, because prosecutors are being squeezed locally across the United States, and they're just convicting, or doing writer clause, which Idaho is known for, where you just jumble up all your bad deeds and you get one sentence for all of these crimes and letting those people get out to commit more crimes, but also potentially convicting or slandering potentially people that are innocent. Was he freed through DNA? I think so. I know that somebody took on his case like a pro bono thing, and I believe that it was evidence plus corruption, like uncovering that whole line of corruption and looking at the reports again that exonerated him. I'll have to go back and look again. But he was freed, exonerated. His whereabouts were accounted for, even though they knew that, and they still convicted him. They didn't care. They wanted him. They wanted a body in, and they wanted a conviction. They wanted to move on. That's just how it was. And Detroit was like, and still is, a lot of crime. So they had a lot of cases. They just wanted someone to blame it on, and they did. 20 years of his life gone. Right? Awful. And we'll get into more of this. I think it's a very interesting topic. I think that my viewers are really interested in learning more, maybe. Let me know in the comments or let me know in chat. And we can go over some more of this and some examples. Where they went wrong. Who went wrong, right? Where did they get the evidence wrong? Because we really need to look at like more current, up-to-date cases that have, actual DNA going to the lab, and maybe we'll do that. I think that that's something worth looking into. Random thought, I believe they won't release the 911 call because it will be part of the prosecutorial phase. Yes. Other cases, they were obtained easily, right? Ruby Rose, I'd be very interested to hear Tyler's call to 911. Me too. Me too. Apparently there was another 911 call about the situation, about maybe seeing Tyler searching for Michael. I cannot tell you right this moment where I heard that, but it was from Brandy. I just cannot remember out of the many times being on panel. I just can't tell you on a dime which one that is, but I will find it for you. Because I think that that's interesting. I never knew that there was a separate one. I think she was referring to the property found call over by the cider plant, that abandoned plant that they allowed her to go in and out of to look for Michael at one point. But I'll get that to you. Because I know now that I've said it, you probably want the receipts, and you know me. So real quick, we're going to go into the neighbors. So specifically one neighbor right now, because we don't have time for the others, but the corner house to the left of Michael's house, when you're looking at their front door, that corner house, from the jump, it was, she stated that, we'll call her Jen, that Jen's husband, who was there at the time, saw Michael and walked him to the mailbox at 6:37. I believe that time changed to 6:42. And then it went cold. We don't know what happened. We really don't, even though it was said, like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So what did Jennifer say? One moment, let me upload these because they didn't upload. Damn it. Give me just a second, but it shouldn't take long at all. But I will read one of them to you while they upload so you can have just some context. Jen says, "This kid is my next door neighbor. He was at my house this evening. I know the tracking dog was in his home. The dog has not been at my home where the child was before he went missing. Helicopters have been out. Multiple drones have and are still out. Mom was at work and Dad was home with him and baby sister. He is notorious for sneaking away. Very social child. Horrible situation. This was the day of his disappearance, the night of his disappearance. So a lot of people were very confused, I believe, and I was part of this because I didn't understand what she was saying until later. She is reiterating what she was told or heard by, I'm assuming, husband of what happened that day. She reiterates later that Michael was at her home the night prior on 7/26. So let me upload that for you so you can see it for yourself. Live. Because you know me. Here we go. I should probably block out her name. Here. Let me just scroll. I don't want her name out there. That's rude. But her name is Jen. Again, this kid is my next door neighbor. He was at my house this evening. The tracking dog was in his home. The dog has not been at my home. Where the child was before he went missing, helicopters have been out. Multiple drones have and are still out. Mom is at work. Dad was at home with him and baby sister. He is notorious for sneaking away. Very social child. Horrible situation. Yes, this is the neighbor saying this. Now, if you don't know which neighbor that is, one moment. I'm going to pull it up for you. Again, it's the one to the left if you're looking at Michael's house. No, this isn't doxing. This is what it is, you know? This is the events that she publicly posted on her Facebook, right? Which, honestly, it isn't our concern. Like, I'm glad that we have it, but honestly, it muddles things. It makes it worse. It makes people fight over theories and the speculation gets muddled. But it is what it is. We cannot change that. This is what we got. So, Brandy, on March 7th, 2022, the March 7th spaces that I cannot provide for you right now. Nobody can because we can't find them. It wasn't recorded by someone, or maybe they just don't know they have it. I don't know. We're going to find it, though. It's on the way. Husband was in garage and walked Michael back to mailbox. The other neighbor on the other side, neighbor to the east, says that the babysitter spoke directly to and said Michael came to her house and asked to play with dog. She said to go ask mom, and the babysitter did not get a time from the neighbor, nor did she get a response when asked to follow up on that. Matter of fact, she got blocked. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just boom, blocked. Ironically, this tweet, which was basically someone confirming, is this right? To the babysitter. And she goes, looks good to me. That's right. On the 13th of April, 2022. And that's something. That's when Sarah Wondra got arrested for the dog bone looking ass, gun in your face incident. Wild, isn't it? Wild. That's why you screenshot everything. All the time, everything. You never know when it comes handy. So, that's it. Those are the only two that ever really came out. I'm going to play the interview really fast. Finish up with the other things that corner neighbor has said, and that's going to be it for tonight. So maybe just hang on 13 more minutes and we'll get out of here. But I appreciate you sticking with me even through the drama. Again, I'm going to name drop Granny's watching. It was I think it's 6-hour live, just like Deets. It was pretty long. Where I made an appearance along with others. Definitely check it out. I did get a little heated, so I'm sorry for that. But your girl gets a little passionate about this case. So I think I'm over it now, which I'm glad for. All right, let's watch this. First neighbor. Oh, my good old intro that sucked ass. So glad I'm over that.
Still searching the rest of the area.
He's an amazing little boy. Your typical little 5-year-old, very curious, inquisitive.
Jen Newman is a neighbor of the family and has been speaking publicly on their behalf. She says the family is beyond thankful for the community's support and the efforts to find their son.
Just fun-loving little dude.
Jen Smith Newman just saw Michael on Monday night. She lives next door to the family.
So you heard that. This is the neighbor on the corner of Arizona and Southwest Night. Monday night. He goes missing the day after on Tuesday. So she confirms he was there Monday night. Remember that.
She says Michael's grandfather asked her to share this statement.
He wants the community of Fruitland to know that they are so very grateful for everybody coming out, lining these streets, these fields, looking for Monkey. The show of this community has been so amazing. There's just so much gratitude and thankfulness from the family that they wanted it to be known.
All this as the family is still waiting, hoping for answers as to what happened to their little boy.
The community, have you guys been told otherwise about being cleared?
We are...
So at the time of this video, which was August 3rd, 2022, ironically, this is a very crucial point of my research to me about neighbors. I have over 2,000 photos and screen recordings of research in August of 2022 alone. Don't come at me. I'm obviously insane. But I noticed, and others noticed, that she was in the background in August of or July of 2022 because she had not come out publicly after that interview, which was within the week of him missing. Okay. So I heard that she said, speaking on behalf of the grandfather, for being grateful to the community. So the grandfather in the 1-year interview with Tyler and Randy, they're back here weaving in and out, talking, the little one Buggy is running around, running amok. And so I just wanted to notice that she was back here. It could be nothing. They are neighbors. Obviously, grandfather and this woman are buddies. But also, Michael was in her home or at her home the night before and possibly allegedly again being walked to the mailbox back from their home by husband at 6:37 to 6:42. We don't know. Or it couldn't happen at all. Maybe it never happened. I don't know. But that's such a crucial time, right? Because who else is over in the area, allegedly? Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, and Brandon, allegedly. Was there a connection there between maybe them? I don't know. Did somebody see another little boy? We don't know. I will say there is a photo of a little boy at the splash pad in June of 2021 that I almost thought was Michael until I had to look a little harder. And I was like, oh, okay. My heart skipped a beat because I thought I found one of him a month prior to him missing, but it wasn't. But that's how close they look physically. And so, did they see somebody else? Was he not paying attention enough? What does he know? We don't know. But he's allegedly a witness. Well, how do I know that? Because she wrote in Facebook many, many times at the very beginning, and then nothing. So let me read you another comment, because these other ones are being squirrely. They're not uploading fast. Jen to a relative. He is the same age as Carson and just as spirited. Not Carson, that Carson. Her nephew. I can't help but think of him as the same as my own nephew. What if it were him? Same age as this Michelle lady responds, same age as my son. And same nickname. It scares the shit out of me. Jen says, everything you are feeling is intensified here. So she does a lot of updates on the same post. All right. August 2nd, 2021, the newest flyer. He is somewhere. Have you seen him? And it's the one that police actually put up on the first year presser with his level up shirt and his blue striped shirt and white shirt. July 28th, please keep sharing this. There hasn't been an Amber Alert released yet. His face needs to be seen by as many people as possible. He is out there somewhere. July 29th, she shares Maggie O'Mara, which is a local reporter, with her information. The search is still ongoing, still no sign of Michael. Hundreds of you have shown up to help over the past 2 days. A family friend and neighbor reached out to me to say that the family wants to express their gratitude, as you just heard. That was Jen. And appreciation for the community involvement in the search for the little boy. They are far too emotional to speak for themselves. All right. So now we know that they were too emotional because of the trauma of not being able to find their son, as to why they had neighbor come out to speak on their behalf. Okay. And that was on day 3, 7/29. All right. Clear as mud. There was also another woman named Jessica, or was it Jennifer? No, Jennifer. Jessica or Jennifer, one of those, from Washington, that came out and spoke early as well. She has not come out in a long time. I don't know where she is, but she is not a neighbor. She is somebody from afar that knows the family. And she pretty much just says the same thing. It's scary as hell. Anything we can do to help, all those good things.
Working with law enforcement, 100%.
And I'm not throwing. At the time, I was like, this is suspicious. And it could be. But what I am showing you right now is not what my mindset was then. Right now, I'm showing you this is what happened. She was very obviously close enough to come in and out of the house. I would assume grandfather's friend. Okay? Like, they are neighbors. They know each other. It's not weird to just walk in and out and speak over the fence. Plus, Michael Vaughan was at her house the night before. I think that this is very, very important. Did they see anything the night before or the day before that somebody was lurking, you know, those are very important things, because if they saw one of the 4 suspects around being weird, obviously they would have said something. Right? I would hope so. So what do you guys think? Is that a lot of information? Do you need more information? Do you need to hear more about what was said from parents regarding that neighbor? Did I miss anything? Is there something that you have questions on? Just put it in the comments or let me know, and I will clear it up. I think it's really important, whoever the first one who allegedly saw Michael, outside of just Tyler and the family, like, that's always the one to look at. Not suspiciously or otherwise, just what they said, what happened, what's their version of events, and what was going on around them at the time, right? It's just common sense. That doesn't mean I'm hating on them. I'm not attacking the neighbors. I'm not attacking anyone. It's just logic. And that's where we're going to leave it. Let's percolate on that. I'm going to end with one of the most heartfelt things I've heard in a while that I forgot about. You might feel a certain way about this, but I think it's very important that what has happened and all of the love and support that was given at the beginning when things were raw and fresh are important to share. So I'm going to play a video, but I want everyone to have a great rest of your night. Thank you for staying here late with me. You know, as I say, drink your water, hug yourself, babies, fur babies. Let's keep talking about Michael Vaughan's case and others. They matter too. And I'll see you on the next live, guys. Take care. Stay for the video.
Let the blue light signal shine a light for Monkey. Show him the way back to family. When his nightmare started, he was innocent and free. Now he's somewhere where he shouldn't be. So let that blue light signal shine a light for Monkey. Show him the way back to family. There isn't any other color that really matters, it seems, except the color amber, which we haven't seen. So let that blue light shine all across the country and show him the way back to family.